Three, two, one. Kablamo, we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Internet.
Well, hello,
Hi, Internet.
Hello, Internet. We're here. We're gonna play some Blades in a sec. But first, I want to say hello to all of my lovely players because I haven't seen them all week. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Marissa, I saw you a couple of days ago.
I saw you on Saturday. It's
Yeah,
true.
that's right. And I guess Eric, we beat each other up yesterday.
Yes, that's true. 3:15.
Yeah. Do you wanna tell everyone why we beat each other up?
Why we're no longer friends.
Yeah, we're not friends anymore.
Why we can no longer have any form of civilized conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve and I run a podcast called Discussions and Dragons, where we talk about GMing various tabletop games. And our topic this week was whether or not you, as a GM, lie about your dice rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you roll the die and then don't follow what it says.
Yeah.
And we have opposing opinions on whether or not.
So the question that I have for the rest of you before we start playing is, so we have opposing opinions. So one of us thinks that it's wrong to fake your dice rolls, and one of us thinks it's correct. And my question for you, my lovely players, is
Well, hold on. If we're gonna
which of us is what?
Hold on. If we're going to pitch the question to them, then we should say it correctly. One of us feels that it is against the social contract between the player and the GM for the GM to lie about their dice rolls. And the other one feels that a GM lying about the dice rolls is just the GM using the tools at their disposal to keep the game going and the story running smoothly. It is no different than altering the stats of a monster. Those are the two basic ideas.
So who thinks which of us is in which camp?
Eric lies.
Eric lies.
Oh, 100%. I roll dice for the noise. That's the only reason the dice are hitting the table.
No, I know for a fact because you've explained it before. You've explained
That's
that
fair.
sometimes you have nights where you roll so good that our entire campaign would have been wiped.
Or the other way around. You guys are rolling really well and I'm rolling shit, and the combats are awful. You guys aren't having any fun. So
I know for a fact that for consistently when you get 20s, if they're well-placed 20s, you say, look at it. And you throw your hands up and let other people see the dice. But other times, and you've told me this just because of like how games have gone, and I'm like, oh, that combat like went well. You've been like, just so you know, I rolled 3 nat ones and the combat would have been over so quickly if I had not made it. Yeah, if I had not made it like, a 13 or something. Like you don't over crit fail and you don't over crit, you balance.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've played a lot of games where like the DM was just rolling so well and I just kept losing and it was so frustrating. I don't know. I think balancing it is okay.
So,
whatever you guys do.
Staying as true as you can to the original dice roll, but if the story calls for it, or if it's way too, I don't know, lopsided in one direction, I'm okay with a little bit of fudging.
See,
I can see the other way though. If it's just like the luck of the night, it could make the story like more interesting. Because
and that's the big one is the randomness being such an important part of tabletop RPGs of any kind.
Yeah.
Is that
Right.
trusting the dice to create story for you.
Well, you guys are lucky because I don't roll any dice when we play this game, so I can't.
That's true.
I know, and I'm sad about it.
You don't have to. If we ever play Dungeons and Dragons, I will never fudge a dice roll on you guys. I roll like out in the open. Everyone can see everything that I roll, and I think
you would dress it as though like fudging a dice roll is like morally apprehensible. Like you're like, I would never do that to you guys.
I think either way is
exactly.
I think either way is totally understandable.
Yeah.
Like depending on the situation, like I respect both points of view. So
As long as everybody at my table is having a good time, that's what I care about.
that
Right.
is what's
I'm
important.
sure.
I agree.
I'm gonna have to cut off this conversation because Eric, we're just doing the podcast.
We will. We'll go back and forth.
Yesterday,
Watch it.
Yesterday,
Go watch the
yeah,
next time.
exactly. No, that's what I was gonna say. We talked for like an hour and a half about this. We said we were gonna talk for 40 minutes, and then like talked for 40 minutes, started to wrap up, started talking again, started to wrap up again, and then started talking again. So like that's gonna be out on YouTube tomorrow, like tonight probably. I'll probably put it up tonight, so it'll be up in the morning.
Oh, very cool.
It's gonna be a thing, and it's actually like a really good conversation. I'm really proud of it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is really good.
But
it unfortunately just cost us a friendship. But
right, yeah. But like we've got a working business relationship still, so
Right,
which is why we're here. Yeah.
Because I'm contractually obligated.
Not yet. If I ever start making money off of doing this, then I will give you guys contracts. So, anyways,
prenups.
Yeah, right.
I watched most of the episode from last week. I did miss the last quarter of it. I think I stopped when you guys went into your downtimes.
That's fine. So yeah, so last time I'll recap really quickly, and then Eric, you and I will have a chat for a second. So last time you guys delivered the payload. You met Liana, who is a high level Red Sashes operative and the retainer to Mylera Clave, the leader of the Red Sashes, who you also met. You also met
Is that her full name, or is that just her first name?
Mylera is her first name. Clave is the family
that's
name.
What I had.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would know like the Clave family name as an Eruvian, by the way.
Okay. Okay. So I know about the Clave family.
Yeah. They were like a noble family who like moved to Duskfall and started a very successful.
Yeah, they left like in the middle of the night. It was very strange. Yeah. They just like packed all the things and they were like goodbye, and we were like, oh my god, you're not coming to my soiree.
So you met them. You sold the bounty you sold Crow's bounty, the captive, to them, and then
I got a coin for it.
I had one thing to ask on that one.
Yeah,
so I have to make that.
Let me finish the recap, and then you and I are gonna talk, because I'm gonna give you a chance to do all the stuff. Where the whisper of the Red Sashes, whose name is Moon, used the magical artifact that you guys transported to see how this person died right after like Mylera killed them, and you got to see like the last like couple of minutes of their life leading right up to their death. And well, Moon did, you guys didn't, but I narrated it to you guys as players because it was like a badass cutscene. You guys now have been tasked with finding the body of I think his name's Roric. I didn't get a chance to pull up my document. You're finding the body of the Crows leader who was recently deceased, and using this magical artifact to find out how he died, so that hopefully the Red Sashes can have some like political ammunition to leverage against both the Crows and then also by proxy the Lampblacks in their like little kind of like budding turf war, so to speak. So Eric, you weren't here last week.
Yes, no.
What I would like to do for you is give you the opportunity, if you want to ask me any questions about any of the stuff from last week, or if you wanted to like have any conversations with any of those characters, we can do that kind of in a flashback here, like ahead of the actual getting into the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I want to give you downtime actions, because everyone else got some downtime.
Oh, thank you. I'm so stressed right now.
There was a lot of stress.
I was hella stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had 3 items that I wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
One, you guys had me watching the captive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
During that time, how much time was I watching her?
How much time do you guys think you left him there for?
Not that long.
We had to
No longer than half
get
an
off the
hour.
boat,
Yeah, maybe half an
talk to
hour.
them inside. Yeah.
It was
Half an hour, 45 minutes.
it was Roric, by the way.
It is Roric. That's the body we're looking for.
That's the body.
Crow's
And Moon knows the location. Like the Red Sashes like know where the body is. There's a limited amount of time before it is disposed of, but he knows where it is. Like you guys have the information of where it is. It's just getting there.
Yeah, it's just like escorting him.
Okay.
I typed it out so you guys can see his name spelled out in Roll20 for you guys.
Okay.
All right. So if I was left with her for 30 minutes, in that case,
She was
my secondary.
She was largely like unconscious for most of the time. But
Oh, okay, never mind then.
but if you want her to be
I
awake,
thought-
she could be awake.
Well, I thought she came too. I mean, my other question is, how quickly does a demoness travel? Like, can she just like, if I like call her, can she just like bamf into the room, just like womp what?
You try. What do you? So what do you? What do you?
I'm
want to do?
attempting to get this girl to sell her soul to the demoness because that's like my thing. Like I'm trying to. That's why she's my friend. The demoness is my friend because I try to get people to sell their souls to her.
To Satara.
Yeah.
You could so
the bounty's on the body, not the soul. I'm not breaking anybody's any agreements with anybody.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I don't think that Satara would need to be there. I think you just need to like there's probably like a ritual that you can perform that's like a contract of like you make a contract with a person that like when they die their soul their ghost goes to Satara or whatever. So like that's like you would have to like convince her to do that, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, but never mind.
Okay.
All right, now I know how that works. I forgot that she got killed later anyway.
Right.
My offer was going to be to break her free and then be like, oh my god, she escaped, but you guys, she died.
Right. Well, you could have, because you could have like brokered the deal if there's a way that you wanted to try to broker the deal, and then like when her soul, like when she died, like that's where her soul goes, and like that wouldn't like break with what we did last time. I don't know if you
right, but I don't want to broker a deal that I would then have to break because I feel like that's worse. Like if I make a deal that like I'm gonna keep you alive and then I break that deal and I just purchase your soul.
I understand. Yeah, makes sense.
Like the Amazon return policy on that has got to be. Hold on.
It's probably not great.
Probably not.
Hey, I don't have a return policy, okay?
All right.
So yeah, nix that. And then the only other thing I had was my Lyra stepped out of like complete shadow. Was that just like she's really really stealthy, or was it like ooh spooky magic?
The whole scene was a little.
Everyone was in the shadow.
It was jarring.
So the way that scene was it was a big room where the only source of light was a little electroplasm lantern that was in the middle of it. So like there were like no one really knows. Like,
so it wasn't like spooky magic as much as like she could have just been standing just outside of the light.
It was totally like a stage like because there were like
how extra. Like I'm just looking around like really you're not already impressive. Like you're being already so powerful.
It was meant to be intimidating.
Yeah.
I feel like just the Red Stash name is intimidating enough. You don't need to go through all this smoke and mirror. No.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I had. So I'm good.
Okay. Cool. What would you like to do for your downtime?
De-stress first.
De-stress.
De-stress.
Swim in some pearls.
I'm gonna indulge in my luxury. I'm just gonna go shopping for something really nice, like a silk robe.
Yeah. Look at you.
Ooh, shiny.
And a fancy hat.
And a lumberjack hat.
That's a lumberjack hat.
Yeah.
Well, this has red in it.
Fashion.
This is a hat stream, by the way. If you're watching and you're not wearing a hat, then like get out of here.
See, I was kind of hoping we would go the entire stream without calling attention to it, just to see if anyone said anything.
Without mentioning it one bit.
I ruined it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Now everybody knows it's a hat stream.
I was just gonna see how long we could go before someone mentioned the hats.
I ruined it like I ruined everything. You should have said something before we went live.
I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like, oh, I wonder if anyone's gonna actually say anything.
Right.
It's fine.
So what do I roll to de-stress? I don't remember.
There's an indulge vice button.
There it is. I'm gonna go and do that. Indulge in my vices.
Yikes. So you relieve
nothing.
one stress.
Woohoo!
You get one stress.
Go ahead and uncheck that.
You can do it again.
Oh man, I like have to, don't I?
How much stress do you have?
I still
I have 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have so much.
Why do you get 0? Oh, because you have nothing.
Because I don't have anything in prowess.
You have nothing in prowess. I see.
Because when somebody was explaining how to build characters, they left out the part that if you don't put something in prowess, you lose out on it.
Trying not to overload you with information.
Conveniently left that part out.
Yep. Haha.
Yeah, I'll indulge again.
All according to my plan.
There you go.
2.
I'm
down.
Oh, also you have a coin from the last thing. I'll put it in your sheet for you.
Oh, sweet.
And if you
and
if you want to. So like the thing you probably missed at the end of the episode is me explaining how you can use coin.
Yeah, coins are like pay to win.
Yeah,
they're like paying you get something.
So if you want to, you can pay a coin to get an additional downtime action, and do your vice again if you want.
I don't think I need to do that all. If I was going to use the coin, I'd use it on something else.
Okay.
But no, I'm good.
All right.
We can skip.
Cool.
I'll keep my mind.
So you guys, let's see. All right. So we'll do a scene and we'll set up the score. We'll do an engagement roll and then we'll get on up in that score. So we open the actual fiction. All the stuff that 13 was doing is like the cold open before the theme. Like you do all of that stuff and then like our theme song plays and then the episode fades in. And you guys are all there with Moon. And Costa's there too, presumably. At your little temporary hideout that you have in Dunslow. And we come into Moon explaining to you, and I don't remember the voice that Sam used, but so Moon is like a middle-aged dude in like a cloak with his hood. He usually has his hood up, but he's got his hood back, and he's got some cool tattoos. He's got like tattoos like peeking up from his collar.
Lots of weapons.
And lots of weapons, all hidden in the cloak. And he and he's explaining, so if we're ready to begin, the corpse of Roric is currently being stored at the Bellweather Crematorium. It is slated for cremation in 3 days' time, and the plan is to get in there before that happens, and buy enough time for me to be able to use this artifact to see how Roric was killed or died, and then get out. That's the job. Fairly simple, straightforward. It's just a matter of breaking into or finding a way into the crematorium.
Okay.
And you guys would know, all you Duskfall natives would know that the Bellweather Crematorium is so like we talked about like a couple of sessions ago. We talked about someone dies, the bell rings and the Deathseeker crows go after them. That building where the bell is and where the Deathseeker crows live, that's the Bellweather Crematorium. And like
that makes sense.
And like and in the like bottom, like underneath, there's like a presumably, I mean, none of you have really ever been there, but presumably like there's like a whole like kiln where like the bodies are burned and all that. Because you have to dissolve a body. Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna turn them into pottery.
It's for pottery.
You don't know what their culture is. Maybe then you return it to the family and plant a flower.
In Dustballs,
yes, I love it.
In Dustballs, kilns is for people.
They're very Etsy based here.
You know what?
Etsy-based economy, Etsy-based culture.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not a whole lot of resources to recycle everything.
That's why it's such a gang territory here.
It's an EBC, an Etsy-based commerce.
There we go.
Well, no, so
DIY culture.
So you have to dissolve and cremate a body in ectoplasm in order to destroy the spirit, and that's what they do with like random people who are killed that like the spirit wardens get their hands on. They bring them there so that like we don't get like poltergeists and like rogue feral spirits and shit all over the place. Right. That still is a thing that happens because they don't end up with like every single body that ever is passed, but that's a thing.
I guess there are ghosts like just everywhere, like all over the effing place.
Maybe.
Bumping into shit.
Yeah. Can't swing a cat without hitting a ghost.
Why are you swinging cats?
It's a saying. I don't know.
Who says it?
Oh my god.
People in the South?
Yeah, it's native to, where are you from? The Dagger Isles?
Yes.
Little dagger I'll say.
Absolutely. They always say that.
Yeah.
Oh, home
Down
in the
there.
dagger isles.
Yeah.
Swinging
They're-
cat without hitting somebody talking about swinging cats.
Their daggers are just weaponized cats that like they train them to have their claws out and they
That
just
would be-
swing them around.
That's not a joke, though. That would be hurtful.
Oh, that would be
That would be
awesome.
real bad.
We're building a world here, team.
I mean, I definitely have a cat on the boat, right? Like to kill rats and stuff, right?
I mean,
Why not?
We can.
You've never told me that you do, but
Now I kind of want one.
I have a bird.
yeah, you've got
They're-
you've got Crow's Crow.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Who I think we've decided is the mascot for our group.
Yeah.
What's his name? The crow?
Crow.
Edgar.
I don't
That's my
know.
cat's name. That's actually my cat's name.
I
So.
haven't named him yet. I'll think of that for tonight, actually.
Cool.
Pete.
Gerald
Frank.
Gerald the Crow.
Bob.
Gerald.
Warnold.
Arnold.
Warnold is what I named my water elemental, my WoW mage. Anyways, yeah. So that's what Moon tells you guys, and he says, thoughts, ideas?
About going to the crematorium?
Yes. When
Is it like,
How well is it guarded?
Yeah, I was just about to ask. Is it like guarded?
one would presume. Yes, it is. It is definitely guarded by. This is Steve talking, not Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you guys would know that it's under the jurisdiction of like the High Church. So presumably they have people guarding it and like people there and all that kind of stuff. So
Is
So
it
we have 3 days, right?
you have 3 days.
would it be a common occurrence for somebody to try to steal a body from them?
2 seconds. My laptop's about to die. I have to go grab my charger.
Go
Sorry.
for it.
Like just if it's something that they're like used to happening, then we have to consider that. Whereas if it's something that they're not necessarily used to on a regular basis, we have a little bit of like the element of surprise on our hand at least.
Right. Yeah, Moon says.
Well-
So go ahead.
No. Do we have to steal the body?
That's what.
Or do we just have to...
That's what Moon says. He says we do not need to actually steal the body.
Right.
We need merely. I need to get within a certain distance of it, and I need you to buy me 10 minutes.
Okay, so rephrased question: are they used to people breaking in to touch their bodies?
I cannot imagine, and this is Moon says, I cannot imagine that their history has been completely devoid of grave robbers and rogue whispers, and like shoots a
Right.
knowing glance over at E13.
And I shoot a knowing glance over at Undertow.
Hey, I could try to get us in there. I don't even know if we need to be like all, I can try to talk my way in. I'm not saying it's going to go well.
Can I just get a
I could try it.
Can I get a job there? Like, I'm a whisper. They deal in like killing bodies. Like, I'm sure they could always like. Oh, we could always use somebody else to talk to the spirits.
It is my understanding that only members of the church are employed there. Are you a member of the church?
Probably not. I have a library card. I don't know.
So, can we just have a story about why we're going to be there for 10 minutes and then leave?
Okay, who here wants to be Roric's brother / sister?
I mean,
Which one of us looks like him?
what does he look
Roric
like?
look like?
I don't think any of you know. I think like Moon like says like he was I only knew of him in passing. He had dark hair and constantly wore the
So,
emblem of the crows. He was a famous crime boss.
So we can just go and fake it, right? I mean, are they gonna?
I think we should take, since we have at least 3 days, we should take the first day as like a reconnaissance and try and scope out the area.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting a call, so I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I agree.
Yeah, do some reconnaissance, check out the area, see how many guards exactly there are.
How long is it going to take us to get there?
Find out some information on this dude.
How long does it take you to get there? It's in the city. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like far away. It's like
okay, so it's not going to take our travel time to get there.
We don't.
Okay.
It's not like going a quarter of the day away just to get there.
Yeah, I don't know like how. I don't know how much you guys have noticed, but like I don't really track like travel time and stuff. It's like you guys like decide to do a thing and then we like cut to you guys doing the thing. Like, you know, there's not like
unless it's part of the scenario.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna start a clock. And it's going to be a 3-part clock, and it represents the 3 days. And so, like, we'll do like, everybody like you guys can like do a thing or two, and that'll be 1 day. You could do another thing or two, that'll be 3 days. And like, if you use all 3 days, cool. If not, then like we just can like go into the score.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I don't have a 3-part clock on Roll20, so I'm just gonna use my notebook, and I'll just let you guys know. So you guys are in your first day now. So let's call this like part of the score, right? So like part of the score is like engagement in like let's do the engagement roll, and then based on the engagement roll, we'll say that the engagement roll is kind of like your first day of reconnaissance, and based on your roll, I'll give you guys some information, or I'll give you guys questions to ask me. Like, based on that. So, let's build an engagement roll. Let me get my little reference sheet up here, just so that we can be sure of what we're doing. That's not what I want. Where is that? Where is that? Okay. So.
Yeah, I for sure, Echo wants to know exactly how many people that we're going to encounter along the way, just as an evacuation protocol, essentially. Like, if something goes wrong, I want to know how many people that we have to cut our way through.
I was going to say, also, just in general, knowing how many people we're dealing with on average is, like,
sorry about that, guys.
You're good.
Fundamental in setting anything up. So that's a brilliant idea. I was going to say, I can try to consort through the town and see if I can find any information on if they have specific times where there's, like, ceremonies where it's going to pull a lot of focus. If there's like a good time, like if they have like high godly tea at noon or whatever, and they all have to go and have crumpets, like if it's pulling most of their attention away, that would probably be the best time for us to go.
Right.
Or ghost fighting training, when would be the best time.
So what's happening?
So to catch you up, we're going to roll the engagement roll, and based on the engagement roll, I'll give you guys, because the first part of the score is going to be like reconnaissance, and then there will be the actual like going there and doing the thing. Cool. So we'll do the engagement roll. Based on the engagement roll, you guys can ask me like X number of questions. And then I've got a little 3-part clock, because you guys have 3 days, according to Moon's and the Red Sash's intelligence. So you guys can have 3 days to. Well, the engagement roll is kind of the first day, so you'll have 2 days left to like do whatever reconnaissance you have to do, and then on that 3rd day will be like when you have to like go in and do the thing. So let's start it out. So we're gonna build an engagement roll. We always start off with 1 dice for sheer luck. So you have 1 dice. Mm-hmm. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
Kind of. Like we're trying to brave Rob lately.
I mean, this today reconnaissance is. I don't think it's incredibly daring, but maybe the actual day will.
I was gonna say the mission as a whole is pretty daring.
I think that
going up against the High Church.
I think that if the beginning of the mission is like you guys like taking it easy and figuring it out, it's not particularly bold or daring. If this was like engagement roll right into like going in there, then like that could be pretty daring. But that's up to you guys.
Oh, so the engagement roll isn't so much how we intend to actually handle the
I'm
mission.
confused
It's
as
just
to what
like
this is an engagement.
it's just like how ballsy we're going to be going in the door. So in that case, engagement rolls, would it not be more beneficial for us not to set up plans and just to kind of hope for luck?
Can I try to like talk my way in? Like, is there a reason we're trying to sneak in?
We're just gathering.
You guys haven't even like been there to like look at it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just information rounds.
We don't really know much about the guy that we're going to be talking to, the dead guy. We don't know the layout of the place that we're going into.
So like the like minutia of like the layout of all and the place and stuff, like that doesn't matter in the system that much, right? Like it's like it's what do you guys like, what's the plan, and how do you want to go about achieving the plan?
So we're doing the engagement roll to figure out like the lay of the land and just figure out what would be the best way of actually doing it.
Well, so let's do this before we do the engagement roll. Let's just do some information gathering. How's that?
Yeah.
If that's too confusing.
Well, I was going to say the engagement roll was it was just to start off the mission, but if we're starting the mission off with that's gathering information first.
Well, that's what I was not clear on is the information gathering like part of the mission.
Wouldn't it technically be, because you'd want to start by gathering as much information about your hit that you want. Like you don't just like kick in the door of a heist. Like you'd gather information on, like Echo was saying, the layout of the land, how many guards we're going to be dealing with, so that you can set up a plan for the best way to get in, get out, and get what you need done, and then go in and do it.
Right.
It's all part of the mission because it's used in setting up the mission and then going in for it.
I also have a disguise kit, so I can go in and pretend like I'm one of them, I think.
So question.
Mm-hmm.
For the engagement roll, what does the outcome of the roll determine?
Your starting your starting position in the score.
So can you break down those positions again?
Whether or not you start in a controlled, risky, or desperate position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's just like we can do whatever the fuck we want, but this roll is just going to determine if we're like going in like with people hot in our tail, or like we're just strolling around like, oh, let me get a map of the place we're gonna like go into,
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Right. So then my question on it is just for the idea of, is the mission bold or daring? Is it less bold / daring because we're trying to do as much like homework as we can to give ourselves as much advantage? Does that make the mission less bold or daring? Or is the mission itself bold or daring because we're still breaking into the high church and
right. Well, like,
technically using some unknown artifact?
I think the whole thing right now without any information is
you guys don't even know if you even have to break in. That's the thing, so that's why I'm saying so like you guys can like work together and let's do like make some sort of information gathering roll, and then you can ask me some questions.
Yeah. All right. So the mission is bold and or daring. Yes.
So we'll do this before we do the engagement roll.
Yeah, we'll do this before we even do the engagement
damn it.
roll.
I thought I was getting it for a second. I was like, nope.
Sorry, I'm doing a bad job.
No, not at all.
You're not.
I was gonna say
you're explaining to noobs, so it's okay.
Here we go. No, it's not that. I'm doing a bad job of explaining. So let me.
No, you're not. Anybody out there watching, tell him he's not doing a bad job.
He's doing a great job.
You're doing a great job.
All right, hold on. Let me explain. All right. Planning and engagement. So the engagement roll in this system is like the stand-in for you guys doing all of the information gathering and prep work and all of that. The whole system is all just like, and this is like shown in like all of the stuff that we've done, like all the scores we've done up to this point. It's all just like cutting to action, right? Like after we've done engagement rolls in the past, we haven't described you guys like getting on the boat and making sure that the cargo is secure and like untying all the notches and stuff. Like you do the engagement roll and you cut to like the first problem, like the first kind of like encounter of the score. Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So here's a thing. So there are 6 different like types of plans that you guys can choose to do. And so we'll pick that, and then we'll add a detail. So there's like the base, like what you're doing, and then there is a detail that you guys provide. So that can be the thing that you guys make like the information gathering roll to like find the detail. Then we'll do the engagement roll, and then we cut from there. We do the engagement roll, and then we cut to like the first like obstacle that you guys encounter.
Perfect. Honestly, I think if we just knew a general direction of like, here's how we're approaching it, that's all we would need. And then the rest can just be action, reaction.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, and then like, cause like we don't set it up. It's not like, so like the difference between like this and Dungeons and Dragons is I don't have a like encounter, like a map set up for you that is the Bellweather Crematorium where I have like all the and we go like tile by tile and all that. That's not how the system works. It's like, we do the engagement roll, and then I say like, okay, like you guys are going in and it's going really well, like, and then like you guys what, like, depending on what you want to be doing, if you're doing like a sneaking thing, then like I give you an obstacle, but it will be a different obstacle if you guys want to try to like deceive your way in, like that sort of thing. So so here are the different types of of plans that we can do. This is like breaking down to make it a little bit more binary. You can do an assault, which is doing violence to a target. You could do deception, lure, trick, or manipulate. You could do stealth, which is trespassing unseen. You could, there's a cult, engaging with a supernatural power. There is social, which is negotiating, bargaining, or persuading. And then there's transport, which is carrying cargo or people through danger. So in the past, you guys have done a transport mission, right? So like that was the boat mission, and you guys have done theoretically a stealth mission, right? Like trying to
stealth / deception,
something like that. So of those 6, which do you guys as a group think that this like is your tact going in here?
So this is a religious organization that runs this place?
Yeah, this is like there's a church, like a high church of Duskwall. And they run the crematorium. Yeah,
I don't know why I thought you were going to go, are they hot?
It's just my go-to line these days. So
you're not a young boy.
It's a good question.
I mean,
I'm for stealth.
My character is always happy to talk to people, so that's the hammer I want to hit every nail with. So that's, if we don't want to do it that way, that's fine. It's just
Echo's stealth is just not talking, so I could do that.
I was gonna say 13 has no stealth whatsoever, but I feel like deception / stealth is our strength, because Undertow is our deception, and then Crow is our stealth, and then Echo and 13 just.
I have an idea. Is this organization, are they're religious? Are there monks? Can there be monks that might have taken a vow of silence that you can all dress up as?
There can be there could be acolytes.
If we're gonna go deception / stealth, can we all disguise ourselves as monks?
Except for me, like acolytes to the temple.
That's just an idea.
I'm down for disguising myself as one of them.
And then I can try to be like, oh no, they have taken a vow of silence. It is very holy. We love our Duskvalian god. I don't actually know what they worship.
I can speak in grunts. It's fine.
I just imagine the little crow also in a monk robe, like.
Yeah. Be amazing.
Oh my god.
That's my idea, but that's all I got.
That's fine with me.
Do it.
I agree with the idea of stealth and deception probably being our best bet for this one.
Yeah, so
because we don't want to. If we draw any real attention, then we're just cutting down on the time. As long as we're subtle, we can keep as much.
So it sounds like we're gonna do a deception. We're going to pose as a thing and deceive our way into where we want to go. And then the detail for a deception thing is we figure out the method of deception, which I think you guys have kind of worked out already. Like is you're disguising yourselves as acolytes to the church, and you're gonna try to like get in there and get access to where presumably the bodies are kept, and make your way down there. That makes sense. Totally.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep.
Try not to kill any holy people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you gotta, it's fine. But just saying.
Right.
Well, so what is the high church? Is it like, are there multiple religions, or is there just like one religion that everybody follows?
There are a couple of different ones. So like the high church is like, so this is like the like generic. This is like Christianity, right? This is like like the most pervasive. They like worship spirits, and they like worship like the emperor as a deity, like that sort of thing. As opposed to like so there's another church with a fucking metal ass sounding name called the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh, and they are like,
there you go, Undertow.
I kind of like that one.
They are like
Undertow just found Jesus,
right? And,
praise be.
And they are those guys are like the like they like worship like demons, and like, all
right, I'm still kind of down.
And then there are like,
Undertow, my best friend is a demon. Why aren't we friends then?
and then there's
this church just sounds awesome.
And then they're the like self-flagellation, like all that sort of stuff. And then there are like small sects here and there, and cults here and there,
like cults and things
to like specific demons. Like there is a
so this is,
cult of Sitara.
We're still like
different stuff like that.
We're still like transgressing against a relatively large organization.
We're like going into like a sub-Vatican.
Kind of. That's what it sounds
in a way,
like.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not infiltrating the church itself, just the place.
Oh, I'm here for it. Oh, I'm so excited for this mission.
All right. What's next? We got it. We got a plan.
So that's the plan. You've got the detail, which is how you're doing it. So now we make the engagement roll.
Okay.
And so we'll do the engagement roll, and then based on the engagement roll, that determines like what situation you guys start in. So then I'll do kind of like the opening narration, and then describe like your guys' first kind of like encounter that you have to like then like deal with by like rolling and doing different stuff.
Okay.
Got it.
Cool.
How does one do an encounter roll again? I think I was
an engagement roll. We're gonna do that right now.
Okay.
We're gonna build it up. So I'm gonna go.
I'm
gonna go through this list of stuff, and we're gonna add and subtract d6 based on that, and then you're gonna do a fortune roll with that many d6s, and then that result. So like the more ticks in your favor, the more dice you roll, the better chance of you like being in a really good position. So we got there. So we've got one dice for sheer luck that everyone always gets. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? I think that it is.
Okay.
Because the opposite end of that is it overly complex or contingent on many factors, and I don't think it is. I think it is like fairly straightforward, and like you're not putting yourselves in a situation where like, oh, like if this and if that and if that, then like we're good, that sort of thing.
Right.
We're just gonna fake it till we make it.
So I think that works. So you get dice for that. Does a plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I don't think so.
Only because it's going to be us in disguise, working off of the disguise, going into a building where everybody could be our enemy.
Also, I think that you don't gain a die, but you don't lose a dice for this either, because you don't know a ton. Right, like
okay.
Like if you had taken like additional like downtime actions, or like spent the time to like gather more information, then you can like determine like the plans, like you could come up with like the plan's detail that like hits them like it where they're the most vulnerable. But we're not doing that, which is why you get the dice for it being particularly bold or daring. that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Are any of your friends or contacts providing aid or insight into this operation?
Moon?
Moon is
Moon somebody's
Moon.
contact?
Moon is not somebody's contact. So
Yeah.
so like mechanically this one means like your like friends who are like on your character sheet.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And so I mean like so do you take Costa with you?
Where has he been this whole time? Because he was with us back for the Sash meeting.
I have been right here, my friend.
Oh, there you are, Costa!
I have
Wow, you're so
I
quiet.
have been here smiling and nodding this whole time. I think that whatever plan you guys have really set out on your own and really taken the reins of this operation, and I am happy to allow you to do that.
Costa.
I just imagine
In my
he's been
home-
like with a Slurpee in the background the whole
Well,
time.
like Costa kind of ended up being like my tutorial NPC, right? Like he
Yeah.
was there to like kind of like help guide stuff. And so like at this point, do you want to take him with you, or do you want him to like hold down the fort at home?
Costa, come on.
I don't know if we need him though, do we?
We need him.
Look at how quiet he is.
I could
No, because
We need
he
him.
says if you would like me to join you in this, then I will join you in this. However, I think that it is it seems that you all have it under control, and it seems the type of operation that if there are too many cooks, the stew may get spoiled if you
My
Understand
vote,
what I mean.
my vote is for Costa to stay behind.
Me
In
too.
Neruvia, 5 is an unlucky number. 4 is a very lucky number. 3 is even better, so if one of you dies, that'd be great. But 5, certainly not.
well you
I think that
the camera pans over to Moon and he's like, I'll be there.
purely
God
from a
damn it,
practical
I didn't even
standpoint,
see
the
you.
less people we have coming with us, probably the better.
6 is
Oh.
a very unlucky number in Neruvia. 5 is much better. 4 even better. So if one of you dies, great. But 5 is a very lucky number. 6 too many.
Okay.
Too many.
All right, Costa. You and the plot can stay back here, I guess.
I know not of which this of this plot of which you speak, but I will guard it with my life.
Costa, I didn't get a chance to say thank you for letting me borrow your gun.
Yes, let's not do that again. That was a very stressful thing.
You feel the PTSD in the air.
While I am glad that you are safe, I am also glad that my baby is safe. And he like pats it.
He like walks away like this. He's
Yeah.
like,
He says let's not do that again. And by that I mean let's not put ourselves in the position where anyone other than me needs to fire this gun ever again.
Oh, I agree. I also hope that I never get into a position where I need a weapon in my hand. Everyone else just keep me out of those positions.
Then we are of a similar mind on this. Okay.
Undertow can handle all the positions.
Are
Oh, hell yeah.
are there any other elements you would like to consider?
You said that they deal in like spirits and things like that. Before we go in, is there anything about being a whisper that would help us in this? Because you said that they like worship the spirits and the emperor as a deity. So as a whisper, do I have any kind of advantageous?
I don't think so, because I think
Okay.
whispers are like so their religion is based on like the regulation of spirits, which is why the crematorium exists, right? Like the
Oh, so they're not a fan of
the-
whispers necessarily.
probably not. Yeah, the like the Bellweather Crematorium is a special like a special place that exists for bodies to be disposed of where their spirits are destroyed to like stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
New question. Can I summon spirits within their grounds? Do we know
Yeah,
yet?
no, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try to summon Felicia.
I mean,
Wait, Felicia's the banshee, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Don't
what a better...
want attention drawn to us.
No, but what a great place to draw attention away from us. If I summon
Well, that's true,
Felicia,
if we need
pull
to.
all of the attention to fight a feral
But-
poltergeist.
If we need,
It's a good plan B. I'm not saying it's a plan A. It's a good plan. It's a good plan C. It's a good plan. In Neruvia, plan Cs are very important.
Question. So we had talked the last time about the crow that I have is actually one of the being one of the oh god, what did
Death
you call it?
Seeker Crows.
Yeah, a Death Seeker crow. Is
It's the name of
that
my new metal band.
is that something? Yeah,
Seeker
the
crows.
Death Seeker crows. is that something that I should consider as we're about to be like in disguise that they're gonna recognize, be like, hey, the crow looks familiar, or is it?
Are you gonna? Well,
is it not?
that depends. Do you intend to like bring your crow in with you? Is it gonna just like be on your shoulder the whole time? Because that would be weird.
So in my mind, I was thinking that like as we get closer, as soon as the door is open, I was gonna send him to like go sit in a high rafter and be like eyes in the sky for us.
Because Gerald could totally do that for you.
You did do that training before on the last.
Yeah, you can totally do that. And
Gerald is not my crow's name.
Until
Until
you give me a better name for him, I'm just gonna refer to him as Gerald.
Carl! Carl! Sorry. No, it's not Carl either.
Oh, I wish it was Carl. I love that.
Sounds like it's Carl.
He looks like a Carl. Costa says he looks like a Carl.
All right.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you can totally like if you like send Gerald the Crow out and like leave him like doing like a perimeter sweep or whatever, and he's not like with you, because if he was with you, then that would be like a thing that would draw attention to you. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna send him inside the building.
The crows don't go inside the building.
I was gonna
say,
do normal folk have birds that just fly with them?
No, they have there's like a presumably, like, you guys don't know for sure, but presumably there's like a rookery somewhere up in the high levels where they like keep them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
His name is going to be Chimney.
I like that.
Okay.
Nice.
That works.
Chimney.
All right.
I'm here for
Chimney
it.
Gerald.
God.
Chimney Gerald Melbourne.
I'll just call him CG. I'll be like, what up, CG?
Chimney's a good name, though. I like it. Good call.
Okay.
I will do my best, but probably forget, and then call him Gerald.
You're just gonna keep calling him fucking Gerald. Carl!
Stop trying to make Gerald happen. It's never gonna happen. All right.
He doesn't even crow here. I'll just go. I'm sorry.
That was funny.
We're really flocking away from this game right now.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So
then we engage.
So we have two dice for our engagement roll. So who's feeling lucky? Who wants to roll a fortune roll with 2 dice as the engagement roll?
Nope.
I'll do it.
Gerald can do it.
You got this.
Gerald can do it.
I'll roll for Gerald.
Whoever Gerald
I'll
is.
roll for Gerald if you want.
No.
Chimney the Crow does not agree with this.
No, I'll do it. I don't mind. I don't care.
Go
yeah,
for
so do a fortune roll with 2 dice. And it is the like.
Where's the fortune button again?
I think it's under your friends and everything. There's like a roll fortune thing.
Yeah.
Yep, I got you. 2 dice. We're gonna do this.
See how this goes.
Part of the card.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yay!
You guys start off in a good position. Let me make sure. So I think that means you start off in a controlled position. Let me just double check. Where's my? That's not the right one. That's the right one. Yeah, you start off in a controlled position. So
sweet.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure because a 6 is you start off controlled. A crit, which is 2 6s, means that you start off in a controlled position with an extra added bonus.
Got you.
So, cool. So here's what I'll do. Hold on, I'm gonna pop us over to our map screen, and I think that everything is right. Wait, hold on. Everyone might be in the wrong spots. Yep. Okay.
Oh no.
I see. Wait. Nope. Everyone's in the right spots except for Eric and Simone were swapped. So let me fix that real quick. Oh, and I know why that is too. I understand.
On the fly GMing. You got this.
This is some live production. All right. Good enough. That'll
this is live
that'll do. Okay, so we're on our map, and I'm gonna make a clock for you guys. So because you rolled a 6, we'll make it a 6-part clock. And this clock.
Look at it. Look at that good pizza.
This clock. Hold on. Let me. Where's the edit button? Yeah. No. Come on. Let me edit it. There we go. Will be identity revealed. So this will be the clock that we use to. I think I spelled identity wrong. Whatever. I like.
It's the hey, they know who we are clock.
Yeah. I definitely spelled that wrong. Can you guys see that title that I put on it there?
Title? I don't see a title.
No, you can't.
No
you
title.
can't see.
Just the circle.
I also don't see a title.
All right. Why can't you guys see that? That's weird.
Also, I'm literally still eating my dinner, so I apologize.
So it's all good. We're streaming under the auditory ASMR tag, so it's on.
The nice chewing sound.
Just chew right into the mic.
The sounds of young men eating Costco salmon.
You have to whisper very delicately.
All right, so this will be
Pesto butter
this is so this will be they figure out who you guys are clock, and it's gonna be a 6-part clock here, and I'm going to use any of the rolls that you make where there's a consequence. There will be a chance that I tick this clock, and when it hits,
What are you gonna do
I'm
for
gonna
that clock?
tick that clock.
I was going to say, can you just say tick that clock over and over and over?
We're gonna tick that clock, and when that clock is full, then they're gonna figure out that you guys are.
When the clock is full, we win Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah. It's the opposite actually. It's gonna be it's when the clock fills up, they figure out who you are. So this is like a clock that I'll use as like a consequence.
So it's like a win-win. If the clock fills up, we can all just like pull our rip-off outfits and be like, "Surprise! We're
to protect the world from devastation."
Been us the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
That'd be the longest sound off. People within our nation. Undertow, Crow, 13, Echo.
And Echo, that's right.
And Gerald.
And then we all
Gerald
just
the Crow.
Gerald the
who's like,
Crow. That's right. That's Gerald's voice
It
now.
just Costa waddles back.
Gerald sounds like this now.
Oh my god, no, my crow.
Chimney.
My sweet, sweet chimney.
Oh, sweet chimney.
It's funny.
So are we going in or
yes. So this is the beginning phase, like the first step of this plan, goes exactly how you guys planned for it to go. So when sixes get rolled on engagement rolls, so normally I do the opening narration bit, and you guys encounter your first like obstacle. What I would instead like to do is turn it over to you guys. Like, what is the first leg of this going pretty much exactly how you plan it? Like, what does it look like?
So Undertow's gonna put us in robes.
Mm-hmm.
I figure everyone, even I'll be in a robe too. I just won't have taken a vow of silence. And
You're the worst of the monks.
I'm the best monk. And then I'll
Maybe we should go there first and like make sure that you know what all their outfits look like.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I figure
again, like we're presuming that you've done all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what
Sorry.
that's what the whole system is kind of designed for. The system is designed for like all of that like mundane like planning that you would have to do. That all happens off screen, and we only focus on like
really quick, just so that I understand completely. The idea is the engagement roll, because we got like a 6, because we're doing it like deception stealth-esque. The idea is because we had the 6, we already know these outfits look right. Yes. We know the lay of the land, so we're coming into the right.
Yeah, so you guys,
what
does it look like when you guys like get dressed up, sneak by, or not sneak by, but like get by like the guards at the start? Like what does that look like when you do that?
So before we enter like any like public space, I'm just gonna send Chimney off to like.
Yeah, you got it, boss.
like...
No problem.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding.
He's got a pack of Newports tucked under his wing, like.
He's
an extra for Newsies.
Oh my god. So I'm gonna send
I want him in little tiny suspenders.
You were ruining both my friend Costa and my crow.
It's funny, like we have an interesting dynamic in this game, Simon. To sidebar real quick. Normally it's like the GM trying to present these like cool badass things and the players like goofing and fucking it up.
Oh no, it's
so it's the exact opposite.
God. Yeah. So I'm gonna send him off to just like stay reconnaissance and like I imagine like I've had him for so many years now that I like all crows and like birds to some point sound the same, but I imagine that like he can like crow in a certain like amount or something that I know that like if he's like, oh shit's going down, then I'm like, oh, that's my fucking crow.
he knows Morse crowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna try to smuggle a long rifle in underneath these robes. And then
I have one question. Who do you think you are? No.
you're in my streaming house right now.
Echo feels a little bit uncomfortable with the over encumbered like cloth over her like her large frame scales and the weapons she's trying to. She didn't bring all the heavy ones, but enough.
Don't forget,
in case something.
Also don't forget to choose your guys' loadouts. You don't have to pick like.
So I
I
figure I would have gotten you guys like really nice robes because like I took everyone out drinking last night. I probably met a local shopkeeper, gave me a really nice deal on some nice fitted robes. They look great. You guys look great. I am like so hyped about this. This is gonna go awesome.
Costa.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Echo looks uncomfortable. Say nice things to her.
Echo! You're doing a great job. You look just like an acolyte.
Oh, great. I want to get this over with.
He turns back to you and like you're all in the same room. He says, how did I do?
I'm just trying to make it look convincing, but I clearly look like I'm not having a good time.
Yeah, you make it.
But that's great because you're a monk and monks don't ever have a good time. So just go with that. Go with that.
Yeah.
Are your clothes made out of just cotton spun? Mine are silk. Undertow didn't
like burlap.
Why did Undertow?
You weren't supposed to tell them.
Oh my god.
Now I have to get everyone silk.
Undertow picked up the burlap and looked across the room at me and it's not going to wear that. I have to.
I imagine she tried to put the silk one on first.
It like ripped and like, oh, well, let's just put this other one on.
And from another room, you just heard me go, "Ow, ow! I hurt suddenly. Why am I in so much pain?"
All right. So you guys dress. You guys look the part. You make your way over to the Bellweather Crematorium. Moon is with you.
Yeah.
Costa is not. Chimney the Crow goes out on reconnaissance, and man, no reaction for reconnaissance, huh? All right. Sure. All right, fine.
I don't
I got it. I got it.
Reconnaissance, caw. Like,
Hold on.
I just heard the con. I just heard
con.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's all right.
Unfortunately, we get.
It wasn't funny, but I got it.
Yeah, I was just,
That's the reaction to like 90% of my jokes from my fiance.
I actually am starting to appreciate puns in my older age, so
yeah. Puns are great.
Anyways, you guys go through and you you manage to get in past like the like big arcing double doors, and we got like a shot of this building, and it is like a big ass like cool looking cathedral. And like it's got like all sorts of like cool like stained glass windows that like there's the sun's not gleaming off of them because there's no sun because it was blown up, but you know, like you get the sense that like it would look pretty cool.
There's like
It would look
flashing lightning in the background, like an organ is playing.
Moment of silence for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
Yeah.
Ooh, feels bad.
It's awful.
Yeah. So yeah. So you guys do that.
So yeah, this looks similar.
And so we
Go
yeah.
on.
Oof. Train of thought disrupted. Yeah, so we fade in, like we kind of get all of that in a montage, and we fade in on like the five of you are kind of like left, like you've made it through, and you're in like this foyer type area, and there's like,
Now, did we pass the guards, or are they still there, and, like waiting for?
you haven't run into any guards. So as you go in, you see that there are like kind of like people coming in and out. There's like an area where like masses seem to be held. You see like rows of pews and like a pulpit and everything. And there are people who are like coming in. There are people who are like at like the little like that like candle thing where you like light the candles and you pray. There's a couple people there, and there are like what look to be like priests and other acolytes kind of like around. Nobody looks to be like guarding anything particular at this point.
Question.
Does anyone care that we're there?
Doesn't seem that way.
Question. Are people dressed differently? Can we tell that there are different uniforms for different positions? My thought on this being, what if we're in like acolyte uniforms, which get us like through all the main hallways, but what if like where they're storing the bodies, you have to have certain patches or something like that?
Yeah, that's
and we wouldn't have known that off the
right.
bat.
Yeah, that's totally a thing, right? Like priests and like deacons, like and like altar boys all have like similar.
Oh yeah, they all
roles, but,
dress
like,
differently.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
It's always different, yeah.
Undertow could do like a flashback to like get the specific robes, since she's the one that got the robes anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I figure I would have already like known that there was what to wear to kind of get in without being like dressing so ostentatiously as to draw attention.
Right, and that's
gotcha.
that's the thing, right? So like you are dressed in such a way that you guys are dressed as like acolytes, right? You're not dressed as like the higher ranking people, because you presume that it would look weird if there was like a group of like the higher ranking people just kind of like going around.
Also, the higher ranking people probably know each other better than run of the mill acolytes.
So that's probably like the first thing that you guys notice, and you're kind of like in this area. No one has really like come up to you or bothered you so far. And so
I'm just gonna every time somebody comes near our group, namaste. Oh, I'm supposed to be silent. Hi,
you just
yeah,
nod
and they
it.
give you like their like the equivalent of like the sign of the cross or whatever.
Yeah. Something like
Sign of the
secret handshake.
I think
I do like a whole thing with one of them. Like everyone's like, when did you have time to practice this? Like it was a flashback.
I think if we just keep our heads down and keep walking towards where we know the crematorium is.
I fall right in line with Undertow. Like every step he takes, I take a step.
Do not look at anyone. Do not maintain eye contact for longer than like half a second.
I have a very stiff right leg because I have a rifle attached to me. Like,
just keep on going. We want to get in and get out.
Also,
I'm as we're walking through, I'm making note of the number of doors, number of windows, and trying to keep an account of how many people.
Okay. Do you wanna like try to like make a roll to like potentially have like some to like set yourself up to like give yourself a boost going forward?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, you can do that.
there you go.
Now, I also have a question. Can I watch out for any kind of library or place where they might store sacred/arcane text?
I mean, like, sure, yeah, you could do that. What skill would you like to use to roll to find these things, both of you?
Ooh.
The best one I've got is survey.
I've got studies.
Everything else is breaking things.
Can we combine her survey and my study? Because we're both silent. Can we just like sign language each other? Oh yes, look over there.
Do you wanna? You guys could work together. Like one of you can like take a stress to assist to the other if you would like.
Survey makes more sense. So use survey, and I'll just take a stress to give you the bonus die.
Okay.
Cool.
Because like, right,
Yeah.
Steve? Survey makes more sense because survey is you're like, So I probably would have just warned Echo early
survey,
on.
like compared to like study, is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
study is like if you want to get like the measure of a situation. Survey is like understanding kind of like the layouts of stuff. Yeah. Total.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So I'll take that one stress.
Yeah.
and you can get
So is this a controlled, given that we rolled high?
Yes. This is like controlled standard. Yeah.
Okay. With one that's standard. And then how do I add another die again?
bonus die should be coming up. Should be an option.
Oh, there it is. Got it.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Huge ass crit, and I'm so excited.
Oh shit!
Nice.
The crit, the big crits, crushing it.
The first one.
Juicy Nash.
Easy.
I'm like, I've got like a notepad underneath my gown or whatever that I'm wearing, and I'm like scratching notes onto it of like exactly how many doors, how many windows, how many people, whatever I possibly can to as exit strategies and or deception like markings that we might
Totally.
need.
Yeah. So you do that, and you after like you guys are like walking around, and you're kind of like like making these notes and these marks. And so what I'll say is when you are, if you make any sort of rolls to like navigate through this area, like say you have to like get out quickly for like whatever reason, or like you're trying to like hide in a place, or like any sort of rolls like that, make a note.
Jump in a basket of hay.
Make a note that you'll have a bonus die to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that for any of us, or specifically? Well, I guess one of us would be rolling. For...
Yeah.
And then does Echo spot any kind of repository of
and
knowledge?
that's I think the like the like additional thing, right? So like a crit is like a cool thing happens, and then like you get an additional bonus. So I think like the additional bonus is like you guys pass by like a this like a stacks of like books and stuff.
Can I take a peek in there and like use a quick study just to get the lay of the land? Because I don't know if we're gonna have time for me to swing back in, liberate any arcane text from this place.
This is day one. We're just reconnaissing.
Oh no, this is like score time. This is
Okay. We're dressed up.
Yeah,
We're in here. Like it's now or never.
This is go time.
Yeah.
Do we want to? Can we use like a good like 10 minutes so that we can do a circle of the top layers so that I have time here and look around the books, so I just can like pinpoint the ones I want to grab on the way out?
No.
Please.
We're in and out. In and out.
Yeah, that's Undertow's specialty.
That's
Like
my specialty.
It doesn't mean on the way out if you can just sneak one and hope it's one you're looking for.
All right, but he's gonna start sniveling.
Uh-oh.
As we're walking, I'm just gonna be like,
Do
he's gonna
not
hold his breath until he gets a book.
Do that into the microphone for the ASMR tag.
just like.
There it is. Yeah, we get like as you guys are walking, we get like the shot of like Undertow's face as you're like leading, and we like start to hear that, and the camera like pulls back a bit, and we just see 13 like right in your ear.
I'm like not even really sad, like more like angry about it, like.
All right.
I just give him the stern look of just like, don't blow this shit.
If we have time on the way out, maybe.
I look like a kid that you just said like, all right, we'll stop at McDonald's. Like I right into line, like I'm well behaved.
There you go.
I'm like I finished my homework. Like.
All right.
Oh my god.
So you guys get to so you know that the like crematorium itself is like down like a set of stairs that like leads into like the basement, which is presumably where you'll find what you're looking for. And you like kind of like go around and you find the you like start to see like that staircase, and there is another acolyte who is like kind of like not necessarily standing guard, but like standing outside of it in a like I'm making sure that no undesirables go in here type of way. You know what I mean?
Question: Does he look tough?
Question.
Not particularly. He is like he's probably like he's like shorter than you guys. He's got his like acolyte hood up so you can't see his face. But he's like
that is a good question. Do these acolytes take vows of celibacy? Just for my own knowledge.
It's a tool in Undertow's like basket. Let Undertow let Undertow use their tools.
make a fortune roll. Yeah.
Me?
This will be whether or not the church make a fortune roll to determine this very important part of this religion. World
just one die.
World
right?
building,
I'll
everybody. It's 0 die. So yes, they do.
They're eunuchs. Like.
Oh wait, I put in 1 die.
Yeah, well, so it would a 0 dice would be like it would be like worse than that.
Roll 2 dice and take the lower.
So
right?
so you already failed either way. So
okay,
like not failed, but like failure isn't the right word, but like the opposite of what you want is true. So like they do take.
I mean, I wasn't gonna hit on him. I was just curious.
I'm gonna whisper as quietly as I can to like ensure that nobody else hears me except for our group, and I'm just gonna say, I bet you anything his name is Gerald.
So is he gonna if I just nod at him and kept walking, is he gonna like try to stop me?
I don't know. I would just act like like you're supposed to.
Is that what you're
That's kind of what I wanted to do. Is just keep It's just kind of like nod to him, and just keep going.
So for Crow, would any acolytes be like wanted people? Like, would there be any people like in here for? No, like for like sitting in here for asylum, kind of a thing.
I don't feel like this is really the asylum type of church.
I don't think that would be like a thing that Crow would know.
Ooh.
You're welcome. You're welcome to like.
Are there any acolytes here undercover hiding out from Bounty Hunter?
I mean, we are.
We're probably not the only ones.
Yeah, because when Undertow was like, don't make eye contact or anything, I'm like, oh, fucking looking at people, yeah, like.
Crow's got their bounty book out and they're like flipping through the
I'm like comparing Polaroids to people like
Oh man, so I just thought of something cool for you, Simone. I'm gonna talk to you about it later. For like bounty hunter stuff. All right. Anyways, yeah, so you want to just like kind of like try to walk by and
yeah, just walk past him.
I just want to just not. I'll be polite. I'll nod and say like, may the Lord open or whatever it is these people say, and then keep walking.
The Lord open.
That's from The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, weird religious stuff.
Yeah, it's weird religious crap.
He stands up from like where he's sitting and he says,
okay.
What business do you have at the crematorium?
Oh, wait. Well, I thought you. Sorry, I'm trying to put my cup down. All right. So, I want to know. I don't know if I have to do a flashback for this, but I want to know like a higher up's name that I can just drop.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to be like.
So that I can just be like, oh, what's his name? Sent for us.
I see. Yeah.
That's a better plan than the acolyte tours.
Right.
These are the acolyte tours. I'm showing you.
Acolyte tours.
I'm taking the new acolytes.
Yeah. Make a. Hold on. There's a gather information roll. That's a thing that exists.
Is there?
There is. I just need to find it in my like little reference sheet here.
Consort.
Yeah. It'll be consort. and then
Okay, cool.
And then yeah. So
I was gonna say I have that too if you need it.
I have 2
Okay.
in it, so,
So-
I should.
Oh, me too.
So yeah,
Perfect.
so I think you can do a this will be like a 0 stress flashback. I don't think that this is like a particularly like unreasonable flashback for you to have made to like have like try to like learn the name of a higher up.
Okay, so I just roll consort like normal.
Yes, and then based
Okay.
on the result, will be I'll give you a name, and then
Okay, and is this still controlled?
yes, you guys are still controlled.
Okay.
Okay. You do get a name. Let
Sweet.
me come up with a name real quick. You know about a Father Cavell.
And do I just know his name, or do I know anything about him also?
You got so you know his name.
Know his name.
You
Okay.
you know that he's like a priest that exists.
Okay.
If you got a 6, you would have gotten like that plus another detail. So
Cool. So basically, I'll just go to him and say, "Oh yes, Father Cavell sent for us. He wanted us to I don't know what's something you do. I guess last rites or something, but he's dead already. I don't really know what you do to a dead body.
It might not be just him. I'm sure there's other bodies, so it could just be somebody else.
this is the idea of the of this system. Like you say to me like, oh, like Father Cavell wants us to go and like perform this thing, and whatever you say, because you like
Whatever I say.
like,
Okay, so he wants us to
like
perform
you make the same roll either way, and if it succeeds,
Sure.
then like great, and if not, then like other like things happen. So
Okay.
He wants us to perform the final welcoming of the dead.
Okay, you want to make a roll to convince this guy now?
Sure. What is that a roll on? Sway?
It sounds like sway to me. And you can have a bonus die because you know the guys. You set yourself up with the flashback.
And it's still controlled, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
And he says, yes, of course, and this is an awfully large number of acolytes to bring for such a simple rite.
Well, I mean, do you know the importance of this man down there?
I
Like,
do not. I can't say that.
half of them don't speak. They don't count.
This is a very important ritual. We cannot be disturbed while we are down there. You must understand. Please.
I'm just here to watch the stairs.
And be sure you do so.
As you were.
Oh my god.
Of course, and he
Oh,
like,
all I could think of is you were supposed to be watching the door, Crematorium.
Yeah. And he
Little girl lost her arm.
he like steps aside and lets you guys through, and he like kind of like hangs his head and like puts his hood back up, and he's just kind of like making himself a little small. So you guys head down.
I walk past and I give him a little nod, but a nod that clearly says I took a vow of silence, like one of these.
He like
A nod that says, "Please give me any of your tomes."
Well, like a nod that says slip all of your available into my hands.
yes. He like gives you like a nod and like acknowledgement as you guys go.
Sweet.
That's
So
fine.
you guys head down.
I'm gonna bring up the.
Do his robes look
gonna be in the
messier
back.
than mine?
Probably.
Like, are my robes? My clothes are nicer, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him like a quick one up and down. He might not even notice. Like vow of silence, like polite nod,
You
just
you just want us to get caught.
Oh my god.
I'm 13's not an actor. All right, he's doing his
Right.
best.
Fair. No, you guys are doing great.
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on 13, just if he makes any like big movements that are a little bit too.
Like just
Extra.
kick him.
Like I look at his shoes and I just go, "Are you kidding me?"
I have have to break my vow of silence to criticize your outfit.
Oh my god, somebody scuffs your trainers and you're like,
In this economy?
If it gets out of hand, I just give him this look of like, no.
No, I walk by. I just do a quick up and down. Just
Yeah. I don't think he notices, unless you like want him to notice. In which case, you can make a roll for it.
No, I don't. I don't. It's honestly just 13 looking somebody over and going, I can't imagine what it feels to wear that. Like,
So yeah, you go down, and as you're going down the stairs, you kind of like.
Must be like Draco Mouse.
As you're going down the stairs, you kind of have a bit of time where like there are like no eyes on you because you're in like a fucking catacomb stairway. Moon says to you guys,
Moon.
yeah, Moon. Professional Overwatch player, Moon.
Fucking Moon.
God damn it.
Says to you guys, I once we make it down there, down to the crematorium, I can begin to attempt to locate the body. This is a process that may take me a moment, but I can find a way to guide us to it.
Okay.
I will.
Is there anything that we can help you with? Any discerning factors that'll help us find him quicker?
It is not a matter of sight. And he kind of like under his robe, he like pulls out like a necklace that he's wearing, and on the end of it kind of looks like a dowsing rod.
Okay.
And he says, similar with when we are using the artifact, I will, if there are people around, I merely need you to divert their attention from me.
I'm gonna like slide kind of not next to him, but like in general next to him, kind of, just that we're like parallel to each other, so I can look at Crow and go, "It's whisper things you wouldn't understand."
Yeah.
I'm sure Eric has been informed of what the artifact was, but okay, so you know what happened.
It allows him to see the last minute or several minutes of
minutes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Eric,
and we would have let him know anyway.
I took furious notes when nobody asked directly what does the hourglass do, and I was like, if we don't find out what this hourglass does, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Okay, I just wanted to double check with that. Cool.
Yeah, no, he watched last week's.
I was watching last week. I took furious notes.
Yeah.
But then I'll slide back next to Crow because ultimately Crow's the one to protect me. So.
All right.
As long as you're useful, yeah.
Crow is
okay.
Of course, I'm useful. Hurtful.
So you go down and you see, you get to the bottom and you like turn a corner and you are in this like. Oops, sorry, I hit my microphone. You hit this like large.
That's ASMR.
Exactly right. No, this is a problem. So like my like mic boom arm is right here, and like I gesture a lot when I GM is a thing that I've learned. And I have to like awkwardly like put like gesture like around it. It's the thing. Especially like the first week that I had it there, I was hitting it all the time. So you come into this big like large like huge ceiling like stone like arch like basement like catacomb type thing, and there are like alcoves and inlets like kind of like lining the walls of it, where presumably there are bodies there, and then there are like rows of like dozens of like stone slabs that have different like all they have like bodies on them, and they're like the bodies that are getting like washed and like embalmed and prepared for whatever rites they need to do. As you guys have like gone down here, it smells terrible. It's like formaldehyde, but like it's not formaldehyde, it's like a different substance. It like smells worse. 'Cause formaldehyde doesn't, like in its form that we know of it, doesn't exist, but like it's like just like a really kind of like rank smell that is not good, and especially like if you guys have never been around like this sort of smell before. It's like
I was gonna say it's probably one of those like weirdly grossly nostalgic smells, like whisper training, because I imagine I've come into contact with all
right
gross
dead
thing.
It's probably like super, super like extra intense for Echo because of the way her facial features are. So I can sense like more intensely the disgustingness of it, and it's something
you're a dog and pepper right now.
Yeah, I'm just like my brain is going, what the hell is going on? I'm like trying not to throw up.
Would the drug use affect my sense of smell at all, or no, because it's in needle form? Because it's injected.
Steve, the person, doesn't know enough about drugs to know whether or not that would be a thing. But like,
well, because like any drugs that are like snorted or even inhaled can affect like the sense of smell, the sense of taste. But I am specifically with blood needles, so I would imagine with an injection site it doesn't. I'm just wondering for like how potent the smell is.
So what I'm understanding is that your drug addiction you optimized for the character. Is that what I'm doing?
Well, I'm just wondering.
I mean, like that. I'll leave that like detail up to you. There is nothing that is like mechanically inhibiting you. Like there's no like there's
That's
there's
all I need
no
to
like
know. All right,
yeah.
so
I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of person that's like, oh, like here's your like your character's background trait. Like you get a penalty for that shit. Get out of here.
Lore-wise, I have a slight disadvantage, whereas if you choose, you would have a slight advantage because you wouldn't smell it and it wouldn't be as.
But I'm imagining it's not that, because even though I have an addiction to a drug, it's intravenously and not affecting like a mucous membrane. So yeah,
I'm splashing it on myself like an aftershave. I'm like,
I'm just looking at you going, what is wrong with you?
But I'm using one of the corpse's hands. Like I'm
cadaver number 5. Yes.
I mean, I've lived on a ship my whole life, so bad smells don't do nothing for me. But
this is like
I'm used to open air and sandy deserts.
This is a different type of bad smell than like ship bad smell. Like this is like a different type of like shitty smell than like shitty like being on the sea smell. This is like
no, I figured like people haven't showered in a few weeks, and not a lot of places to clean, and
so we're all in agreement. The smell is gross.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there only one door into this room? Is it only the stairs to get down here?
Yes. It's like the.
Is there anybody in this room right now?
Yeah, there.
That was my question.
Well, I was getting to that, and then we got hung up talking about smells for like 3 minutes.
The smells.
I'm just like, oh man, I want to have these cool narrative.
It's important.
I want to have these cool narrative details to like make the world feel more alive and immersive. But then like I know that you guys as a party fixate on them. It's a give and take. I have to pick my battles. Anyways, yes. So there are like bodies out, and then there are like acolytes who are like performing different types of like embalming and washing and like all that sort of stuff. There's like people around doing that.
I'm just imagining Whisper being like, oh, there's people. Oh god, just like dropping corpses on.
So you guys have you guys like no one has seemed to notice you yet.
Does what Moon has to do, is it like flashy, or can he like quietly mumble as we walk? Like, do we need to get him secluded from people for him to perform whatever he needs to do?
He says, I merely need a few minutes, and then and he like pulls up like the dowsing rod necklace again. He says, this will point us in the direction that we need to go. So I don't know how weird you guys think it will look if I hold this to douse our way to the body. I don't think that will be very. I think that will be very conspicuous.
Yeah, probably we should move beyond at least this first group then. Try to find like an empty, maybe there's like an empty alcove.
There's all like, it's all one giant room. This room is like this whole area is like fucking like dozens of like
just like a long like hall almost
with like a giant like I was gonna call it a fucking kiln again, but I'm not going to. Fuck you, Simone.
Furnace.
Giant furnace.
There's a pottery barn and a Starbucks in the back. Like,
There's an ebook nook in the corner.
Okay, so should we like gather around one of the corpses and like imitate what the other acolytes look like they're doing so that it's less conspicuous while he mumbles and douses his rods?
yeah. Could you like start washing one of them? Like,
Yeah, oh, happily. I pull out a
There you go.
cloth immediately and I'm just like,
Alright, so you want to?
silently, but
So-
like expressively through the face. I'm like, as I'm like washing him, I'm like selling it. I'm like, I'm sending him off.
So what type of role would you guys like to make to like? Because you'll have to like do some sort of role here to like allow Moon to like do his thing. You know what I mean?
There were a wash roll.
Can I do?
how about we do prowl?
That absolutely.
I don't
Prowl
have
about unseen and traverse obstacles.
Wait. What about finesse? Subtle misdirection.
Yeah, this would be more subtle than misdirection because we're trying just not to draw attention to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's kinda...
I would say finesse.
I'll throw in a stress to help.
Well,
I was gonna say, can I
so-
throw in a stress
so
to
we
help
could,
as well?
So is this like everybody's doing this together, or is like one or two people of you doing it? Because you could always do it as a group action too.
I would like to actually stay by the back door, so I will step out of this group and just keep eyes on people entering and
Yeah,
exiting right
you
now.
can kind of take up a position similar to like the dude at the top of the stairs. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I have
Yeah.
no problem doing a finesse roll. I'm just not sure how that would look.
I was gonna say, so can I do a flashback where 13 might have spent time studying the kinds of rituals that they would do to like wash the bodies or prepare them, so that at least I can go through the motions and like do things so that it, while we're using this finesse, it looks more natural.
Oh yeah, totally. So you wanna like do like a flashback, like setup action type thing.
Yeah, at this moment, I look back with like, I don't speak because I have a vow of silence, but eyes that say, "Good thing I studied
Yeah.
this." It's something like,
Yeah.
And then like
And then there's
the
the
thing goes all
flex-
like shimmery. Like,
there's like a harp arpeggio that plays do 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 do.
Yeah.
It's like a whole tone scale. This is I think this would be like a one stress flashback because it's not like it's like it's kind of specific but not super specific.
Right.
And yeah, go ahead and you can make like a study roll, and if you succeed, then you can have a +1 on the actual on like the
okay, and it's
yeah. It's
Controlled
a
and
flashback,
standard.
so the stakes don't super matter.
oh, okay, cool. Controlled standard submit. Bonus die, none, right?
No
Nice.
problem. You guys are rolling. Damn,
Damn,
really well
man.
tonight.
oh, now that you said it.
I know, now you said it. I was like,
So yeah, I step forward and 13 again, 13's not an actor. So like I'm really proud because I actually studied this. So I like whip out the cloth or whatever that we're supposed to use and I kind of eye the other acolytes and I'm like, "Oh, you think you're doing it right?"
Between the toes, motherfucker.
Like I'm doing everything like to the book. Like if there was somebody higher up there watching, like that's my aim. My aim is to do it like exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So do you want to make the finesse roll, or do you want to like assist someone in making the finesse roll?
I was gonna assist
Okay.
somebody in making
So-
the finesse
so-
roll. Like this is me just
Yeah.
knowing what to do to
so
help.
then whoever wants to make the finesse roll can take a bonus die, and Eric, you don't have to take stress to do that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. That was the goal. Yes.
I can do it.
I have no finesse, so I
I have pretty good
everybody is
finesse.
better than me.
I can
have finesse, but I don't have good finesse.
I can fake it.
You have two?
I have 2 in finesse.
That's good finesse for us.
Yeah.
I'm happy to try again. Although now that Steve said that we were rolling well, I'm afraid
Well,
it's
no,
gonna
you
go
have
bad.
my bonus die too.
Okay, that's true. All right,
I
this
believe
is
in us.
still controlled, right?
You're still controlled. You haven't failed yet.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna keep saying it so I jinx you.
You said it.
Oh my
Okay.
Okay, all right.
We are killing
Nice.
Seriously.
We're good.
I made my clock. I was like all set to like have like things to tick for like the consequences and stuff. But like you guys are just like sixing everything.
This is the goal.
We're just washing dead bodies like we're pros at it. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I just
pros just at the door, very confused.
The lowest roll you guys have made all night was Eric's stress relief roll.
Since this is like the holy place of like, you know, dead bodies and proper burial techniques, would they have like those swingy smoky things that like
braziers
that have
braziers?
I forget what
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Incense. Incense braziers.
Yeah.
That they do the frankincense and myrrh in.
I kind of want to like scout the outer edges of the room and just be a patrol on the outside, but I don't want to look too suspicious. So if they had one of those smoky things, I wanted to like pick it up and start walking around the outside.
Sure. Yeah, you could do that.
Just so that you don't have to smell the dead anymore.
So
I washing dead bodies.
It's twofold to block out some of the smell and give me a reason to walk around the room without looking.
Have you ever smelled frankincense and myrrh? Ooh.
It's better than dead bodies.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, so you do that, and as you guys are all kind of like helping out doing that, Moon is there, and you hear him kind of like muttering and like 13, you would know that he's like attuning, and you see his like eyes kind of like glaze over a little bit, and like
I'm gonna cut a look to Crow just to be like, it's a whisper thing, but again, no words, but just like
yeah, you're gonna get shot in the foot.
And he's holding the necklace out. He's like kind of like doing some hand stuff, and then he like the dowsing needle kind of like starts to like swing and like point in like a specific direction, like down towards the end, and his eyes kind of like
the end of the row of bodies. Towards the end of the row of bodies.
Yeah, like just like in the general direction of like farther in the room, like in a.
Oh, I thought it meant like down. I thought you were talking like down to the ground first.
No. And so his eyes kind of like come back to snap back to reality, and he like the rod is still kind of like going in that direction. And he says, "It is this way."
Okay.
I make eyes that go like, yeah, no shit. Like we all the doubts. But yeah,
Crow gives you a knowing look, like, yeah, I know you did nothing.
I stopped washing the body or whatever. Like, well, I finish up. You know, I took the time to study this ritual. I'm finishing. Like, this is going to be good. They're going to have no idea.
It's all yours. You keep washing that body.
Some high priest is going to come down here and be like, this body was prepared for death.
Yeah, no, like, you know, no use doing a death ritual halfway, right?
No, yeah. I'm going to finish it out. Like, and then follow up with everyone else.
Okay, so you guys want to try to make your way towards the, like, follow Moon and his, like, dowsing instrument.
I'm gonna stay by the door. I'm gonna stay lookout and just peering, and I'll like keep an eye on them from around.
And how do you guys want to move? Do you want to like try to like prowl to like move in a way that you are not noticed? Do you want to try to like what skills do you want to use to?
After the body is prepared, would we normally move it somewhere, or would we leave? Could we all just like shift and like act as though we're carrying the body back to its place?
So there are like acolytes that are like washing bodies, and then there are like other robed figures that are like moving them.
Oh.
So we need a distraction?
We'll just look for a body down that way that looks dirty. Just look for the next body to wash.
Just make your way down washing the body.
Just looking around, just be like, this one looks, no, this one's fine. This one lasts a little bit, but that one looks really dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
That's fine. Do we see any of the other acolytes who are washing? from their stations for any reasons?
It's like people at their stations, and then like a body is brought to them, they like do their thing, and then the body is like left, and then another one is brought, like that sort of thing.
So what are we trying to accomplish at this point?
You need to get down to the end where the body is.
So Moon has a like location towards where like Roric's corpse is, and it's down farther into the room. And so the challenge currently is whoever wants to move down as a group, moving down and getting in that direction without like being like noticed or like out of place or anything like that, like moving like inconspicuously or whatever. So
I could cause a slight distraction by dropping the incense and letting the smoke kind of fill up a little bit of an area.
Yeah, that could.
And make it look like I just accidentally dropped it, and kind of use my cloak to like whip up the smoke.
Oh my god! I can't believe I've done that.
What have I done?
Like fanning it out.
Oh no! Not trying to be like a commotion, but just make it visually look like there's something bigger than it actually is. So that way, maybe the gaze is just shifted.
Or you could like you could make a commotion that would like draw everyone's attention, which would allow everyone to like kind of like go through. Yeah.
Push a body over.
No, I like the.
Oh yeah, I could drop
the smoke distraction.
I could drop the smoke, and as I'm going to pick it up,
your butt,
the body with my butt, and it falls over.
Like you guys are just doing such good jobs of like making devil's bargains for yourselves. I don't even. What am I even doing here? Yeah. So what would you like to roll to do this thing?
The best one would probably be finesse, because I don't have like all my other things are violence based. So
the good thing is like you're rolling to fuck something up. So even if you roll bad, you fucked it up.
That's true.
It's not so much that you're rolling to fuck something up; you're rolling to create a distraction. So like if you roll really well, then like A plus distraction. If you roll really poorly, then it will not be as distracting as you want it to be.
And people would just be like, "Oh, they dropped the smoke again. Back to washing."
like that's the idea though, right? Like,
oh, okay.
So yeah. So
I'm just trying to draw the gaze. I don't want to make it look like I did something horribly wrong. Just more like I had an accident and I need a little.
It happens. It happens. It happens so much.
I had an accident.
So then, of course.
Every time I carry the incense brazier, I'm just.
Why do we let Echo carry the incense? God damn it!
Classic Echo.
So then, my question for you, my devil's bargain for you, if you feel so inclined to hear it, is that you you get an extra die. But like the attention that you gain by creating this distraction is like not just like oops mistakes or like whatever. It is like, you'll be like reprimanded. You're like doing a bad thing.
Reprimanded as in like physically punished, or as in like removed?
There will be consequences.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
You guys are finally getting into the Blades in the Dark spirit. What's that? Terrible consequences, you say? Ship them.
It's still controlled though, right?
Overnight.
It's still controlled. You get a bonus die, and the consequence of the Devil's Bargain happens no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
nice.
Right. So what does this look like? You're in your like distraction creating.
So I'm clearly seen that we need to progress in a certain way, and I kind of nod to everybody that we've had these beforehand,
Sure.
like head motions of like, hey, this thing's about to go down. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, yeah. Curveball on two, whatever. Do the touchdown. Yeah, whatever. So I'm just casually walking around the edge of the room, and I drop the swingy smoke thing, and kind of start billowing the smoke a little bit, making it look like, oh crap, it's maybe something caught on fire, and I'm trying to put it out.
And it is like deafening when you do so, because like it was like quiet as shit in here. You could say that it was deadly quiet. And so like, yeah, so it's like, you know, like this whole scene would have been shot with like no score or anything, like up until this point. Like the music would have cut out when you guys got down here, and it would have just been like, and then all of a sudden there's just like clang 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 clang, and like everyone kind of like looks over, and it like echoes through the whole room, and like,
for those of you,
hey, that's why you get your name.
Echoes.
For those of you listening for ASMR, it sounded like clang, 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 clang.
Okay, it sounded like from Lord of the Rings when they drop the skeleton down the well.
Yeah,
you just hear bang, 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 bang.
Absolutely.
And I imagine we all looked at you the same way everyone looked at Mary and Tibbetts.
Except you know it was on purpose.
I imagine we look at you the same way that we looked at you in the very first score of why the alarm was going off.
Why the alarm was going off in the first.
Hell yeah. Look at those callbacks. Yeah, so you do that, and like these like a couple of like the bigger robed dudes who were like carrying the bodies start like making their way over towards you. And everyone's kind of looking, and in that moment where like everyone is kind of distracted, Moon like picks up on that and like starts moving. It is also about this time. Sorry, random aside, are we hard stopping at 10?
I don't want to go too much later if possible.
I was gonna say, yeah, if we can, not too much later, but we don't have to hard.
Yeah.
No, because there's what I'm about to describe will end up becoming a whole other thing. So I think like I'll give us like our little like cliffhanger for the week.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then we'll do experience, and then it'll probably be a little bit after 10. Yeah. So you do the thing. The like two guys start to like head over towards you, and like in that moment, Moon starts moving, and I assume you guys who are like moving with him like are following him. And as we go over, as you like head over, you hear from upstairs, you hear like a scream, like a piercing scream, and you start to hear like signs of a struggle, and the guy who was up at the top of the stairs that you guys met you hear like stumbling down the stairs, and like Crow, he like ends up like right by you. He's like down the stairs, and he like collapses in front of you, and like blood is like, he collapses in like a pool of blood. And that is where we'll pick up next time.
Okay.
As the camera fades out, it cuts to 13 going, damn, Echo is good at distraction.
Hey, I learned a mistake and I made it my advantage.
Yeah.
God, this is good.
No, it is. So yeah, machinations, stuff is happening. Shit is beginning to hit the fan, as it were. That's we'll find out.
I can play the big dumb fool, but I've got a little bit of brains behind it.
Yeah, so we'll get into what's that noise? Why is that boy in blood?
What's this bloody boy?
Bloody boy
screaming. Bloody boy, the first single off of our new EP as the metal band Deathseeker Crows.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's do some experience.
Sweet.
And next week we'll get into the thing. Who wants to go first?
I'll go, because mine was simple. Yeah. I had desperate rolls.
Nobody
I didn't roll
rolled
at
desperate
all.
actions because everyone was just
Yeah, none
crushing
of
it tonight. like you start in a controlled position, which means that like the consequences aren't going to be that dire, and then there are no consequences for there to be dire consequences. Sometimes it happens.
You address a challenge with tracking or violence. No, if we had to play out like the beginning of the reconnaissance more, maybe I would have.
Yeah,
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Spike.
I have a long
maybe
way
it would
to
have,
learn.
but not really. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I asked how my vice would have affected the sense of smell down there, but that wasn't really in character.
No, but I would argue that you were taking your character's background and vices consideration impact in this. I would say 1 for that. Because that's that kind of consideration. Like your vices, drug addiction, would that impact your senses? I'll argue for 1.
I could see 1.
I could see 1.
Okay, I'll take 1. You struggled with issues from your vice or traumas. Nope. So I'm done. 1.
Who is next? Okay.
I'll go next.
Also, I have the feeling that you'll be able to track and like do violent things next session. So.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I already know what Crow is doing.
I'm looking at my stress right now, and I'm like, I might black out next time, guys.
Let's see. I didn't do anything with my vice. I did kind of do a little bit with my background with the sense of smell again. Trying to, and also the uncomfortableness of wearing clothes that don't fit right, and trying to make that work.
I think that.
Yeah. So I would be arguing for 1 for that.
I would say that's an experience worth of.
Yeah.
Of
yes, definitely.
Conscientiousness.
I didn't roll any desperates, but I also I didn't address a challenge with violence, but I did with the distraction causing and learning from past experiences. I think with doing that, I'm arguing for at least 1 for that.
I was gonna say, what does it specifically say? Addressing it with
violence or coercion?
Okay.
No,
because like
not
your
with that one, but your background. Yeah.
I was gonna say Echo's not coercion so much, but like purposeful clumsiness. I can say.
Well, so like coercion because you're a cutter, and so like the coercion is like threatening people to like harm them with like big scary muscles.
That'll probably happen next thing then.
I would say more so because of the way that you used it. It would go as 2 underneath your heritage/background because it's the you being uncomfortable in clothing. It's the you having the enhanced sense of smell to get you 1. But then I think the other side of how you're using kind of your clumsiness to draw because you did that in the other one. I would say it's 2 for that one.
If you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, 2.
I'm fine.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next? Go for it.
I'll go. All right. No desperate rolls, of course. Address challenges with knowledge or arcane power. I feel like I address everything with 1 or.
Probably.
So I'm a bad judge of that. Like, I would say 2 for that, but I'm also a greedy
I think
bitch.
like can you point out 2 specific instances?
Yeah, I specifically looked for the library, then study for the ritual, and then all of my references to Whisper thing, you wouldn't get it.
I think
I'm gonna give you 1 for studying the wash.
Yeah,
for sure.
One for the studying thing because that's a challenge. I think like looking for the library wasn't necessarily overcoming a challenge. That was like going for like looking for an extra thing. Yeah.
Would that be considered expressing my drives? Because my drive is from.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think so.
Okay, so then I would use that as my argument for 1 for that.
Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah. And that's the thing though, right? Like doing extra things and putting your character in precarious positions because of a thing. Like that's totally a thing you get. Like that's what.
And then could I argue for 2 for expressing my drives, heritage, and background. Because I did make 2 comments about like Inaruvia, which I think is going to be a running gag for me.
The number shall be reached is 5.
I'll just do one.
No less.
Is it so? Are we supposed to do 2 if it happens at least like it happens more than once? Okay.
Yeah, like if I express my drives, beliefs.
No,
or
yeah,
whatever
that's fine.
once. I feel like I did like everything, like all my clothes. I made sure to.
I'll leave
it's
it,
1 or 2.
I'll leave it to
I'll do 1.
I'll leave it.
I'd give him 2.
I'll do
that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah,
1.
this is why. So like this is an example. So, when you have 1 trauma, so like let's say I have like a character that is reckless, like that's a trauma, like a trauma that I have. I can, if I play my character in such a way to put myself into like reckless situations, like I'm like just rushing into things without like, you know, all of that kind of stuff, then I can get like a point of experience or 2 for like struggling with issues from my vice or trauma. Like I recklessly endangered my life or someone else's life. I would not have done that had I not had this trauma. That's kind of like narratively putting yourself in that.
That's from the third one. Yeah, I don't think I did. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, but like even like your background stuff too. So like your background is like in the last score when Crow was like going out of his way to like like you find out that the what's her face, the gondolier had a bounty on their head, and like suddenly that like shifts your like your narrative direction and like your role play to like be different than it would have been otherwise. Like that's like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Which you kind of made jokes for your background, but it didn't shift how you played it.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, because no. It was just,
okay.
They were supposed to just be like, haha, Aruvia jokes.
There is no shortage of Aruvia jokes to be had, don't you worry. Yeah.
But that's fine. One is good.
Okay.
I think this is a nice setup for the next part.
Yeah. If we didn't spend 10 minutes talking about how things smelled, maybe we could have gotten farther. But,
hey, it's important.
No,
okay?
I love that we are the type of group that like does that kind of shit. It's great. It's good. Undertow, hit me with that good experience.
So I think I addressed a couple of challenges with deception or influence.
This was like the Undertow. The whole section of the score so far was like the Undertow segment, and then like the end of the score will be the like Echo and Crow segment.
I'll get you guys in. You guys get us out. That's the way it's got to go now. Can I put experience in any thing, or does it have to be applied to what I actually did? Like, can I put this in insight? Like, can I put 2 points in insight, or do I have to put them somewhere else?
The only time that an experience has to be applied to a specific thing is when you roll a desperate action in that category. So if you roll a desperate sway, then the experience you get for that desperate action goes into insight.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't really know. I didn't struggle with my vice or trauma. I don't know if I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I don't think I really did.
Yeah, I can't. Nothing's like popping up to.
Nothing's coming to mind. So that's fine.
But I would argue 2 for the first one.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Did it.
Yeah.
Like
this was all you.
like
Sweet.
Set up.
You were like, I'm just going to sweet talk us through every door.
If this were like I know I narrate this like it's a TV show all the time, but like if this were actually a TV show, this would have been like the like Undertow feature episode where it's like that sort of shit. Cool. And so as far as crew experience goes, I was just kind of looking over it. I don't think you guys got any crew experience yet, but you are set up to next time, as we are as is the tradition with this game. Every other week your crew gets a bunch of experience. You're actually pretty close to a crew advancement actually.
Yay!
Which is
Sweet.
cool.
Speaking of that, we were kind of messing around with names earlier, and I think we
I saw you
yeah.
guys deciding talking about names in the Discord over there.
I think we came up with the Forsaken Crew of the Blackwing Caravan.
Did we decide on the long ass name?
The long ass name.
Well, we just go as the Blackwing Caravan.
Can our crew's name just be the long ass name?
I like that one.
I thought we were just gonna do the Blackwing Caravan.
Just
That's
the Blackwing Caravan. Okay.
Blackwing Caravan.
That's like what you're going with.
Blackwing Caravan, yeah.
I'm gonna write that down, and that's what I'll start marketing this stream as.
There we go.
That works.
And so then the last thing we need, and then we can go into the crew creation, and then we're actually done with done with all the last little tutorial esque thing that we need to do is actually make you guys a crew sheet and establish a crew. We've been playing through the prologue, right? So normally there's a couple ways to do it. You can play with your crew already being established and knowing what you are and all of that, or there's the play until it kind of comes out naturally. And so yeah, the only thing we have left to do is you guys need to pick a crew type, and
all right,
we're good. I've given you guys three different ish types of scores so far, and depending on which ones what you guys think resonates the best, take a look at the PDFs. We can talk about it some more next week or offline in the meantime or whatever, and kind of think about what you guys would want to do, and then if we can decide on that, then next week we can spend either the beginning or the end actually putting the crew sheet together. And then you're a real
pretty cool.
Dark Crew. And
remember real people.
Cool. So with that, if there's nothing else to talk about, we will bid the internet farewell. This stream, if you're watching on YouTube, takes place on Mondays at 8 Eastern, and
Eastern Standard Time.
And this is
same standard time, same standard place.
So it's the Eastern Alternative Time, which is the same as Standard Time, but it wears one of those metal ball necklaces that were all the rage and hot topic for a while.
That's deep cut.
Oh, I'm gonna wear that next time. I still have mine.
All right, next time will be 90s themed.
Oh my god!
Everyone wear 90s something.
Yes.
I'll dig out my old tool shirts. I've got them somewhere. Yes.
Perfect.
We will bid the internet adieu. Goodbye, internet. We'll see you
Goodbye.
next time.